20 years ago, you get your first film, Chura Liya Hai, तुमने.
Film with Ritik and Amisha, Vikram Bhatt was directing.
आप मुझे अच्छे लगने लगे.
आप मुझे अच्छे लगने लगे. So I was there. Somebody had whispered in his ear that he's Sanjay Khan's son, this and that, and so he comes up to me and he's like, "Will you do a film for me?" I was the highest paid newcomer ever.
Oh. 2003. Along with you also had Shahid Kapoor, who did his debut with Ishq Vishk, and John Abraham.
And Ritesh.
With quite a power-packed year for too many newcomers that happened. But what was going on in your mind?
No, I've never been the kind of person who has always looked over my shoulder to see who's left and who's right.
Okay.
I've always been very focused on my own race.
Zayed, but was it easier because you were Sanjay Khanji's son?
Everybody is nepotistic, yeah. You tell me, a person who goes from one team to the other or changes one company to the other, they don't take their 5 people with them?
Yeah.
Is that not being nepotistic? Hi guys, this is Zayed Khan and you're watching me on Bollywood Hungama.
Welcome to Bollywood Hungama, guys. My name is Urmin. Today we have with us an actor, a producer, a fighter, someone who keeps reinventing himself. Today when I look at him, I just need to guess what his age is. Still can't. Please welcome Zayed Khan.
I am deeply touched by that amazing intro.
तो आप मेरे से 2-3 साल ही छोटे होंगे ना जायद?
हाँ, लगभग मतलब मैंने आपको पहले कहा कि यहाँ पे मैं 18 साल का हूँ, यहाँ पे 800. मुझे लगता है मैं 7वीं बार आ गया हूँ इस जिस्म में. हाँ, 6 lives of experience. तो इसलिए मैं 800 का हूँ.
How are you doing? But let's start with that. You look so lovely. You look so fit. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing fantastic. 2023 is been a very, very interesting year for me in the sense that 20 years back, it was 2003 where my first release happened. And I like these numbers, 23, 2323. Strangely, that's my phone number. No, I'm kidding. No, but that's just 23 has been like my number. It's like the number that I've always loved, and somehow amazing things happen to me. And I'm not particularly like a person who's very superstitious or anything like that. But yeah, I do believe that numbers are lucky sometimes for you.
Well, in this course of the interview, we're going to know a little bit more about what you're on to this year because there's some really exciting news that's coming up. But I want to just go back, really back, because you said 20 years ago.
Right.
And we know that you are someone who formally did a course in filmmaking.
Yes.
So was that because, you were surrounded with filmmakers and stars like Dad himself?
So my father, he was very insistent on me becoming a lawyer.
Okay.
And I had gone to university in America. I was pursuing business administration and major in economics, which I loved. I loved the subject of economics. I loved business. I was a great student, but my heart was not where it was, and I kind of called him up one day, and I built the courage to say, "Papa, I really want to go to film school, man, And I think he was a tad bit kind of disappointed because he was always looking at me as somebody, would be a barrister and, a typical, old school father who wants you to, do the thing that is stable and steady and contrary to the belief of, that, acting would, not be something that would be an amazing experience. But so I told him, I said, "Pops, this is it." He said, "Okay, do me a favor. You do the homework and you make sure that you get into the schools you want to, and I'll pick up the tab." So I applied to a bunch of film schools. I didn't get into the ones I really wanted to get into, like NYU, Tisch School of Arts. And but what happened was the experience I gained from not being accepted in those schools was the experience I put in writing up my profile for the London Film School, and they immediately accepted me. And I was in the company of such great people in that school. It was in Covent Garden, and they were like stalwarts, people who had worked with Hitchcock and people who had worked with, Polanski and all these very celebrated, avant-garde directors. And we used to go to school, and there'd be 16 people in a class, and you could have your coffee, pull out your cigarette, and just kind of be in class. And so what we started learning was on a PicSync. I don't know whether you guys even know what that is, but it was the first editing tool. So you actually edited your film manually, and you chip out it with tape. So one of our first projects was, when we got into school, was we were all given the same movie of a 2-minute black and white without sound, and we were told, cut it up in a way that you can tell your own story. So recut this film in a way that you tell your story from whatever material you've got, which was an amazing exercise. And all 16 of us had a different take on a film that was already made and had a beginning and an end.
Right.
And we learnt, cinematography, lighting, sound, editing on a Steenbeck.
Yeah.
Then we went to Steenbeck. Then Avid came out in 2000, and that was the first time everything was digitized and everything. So yeah, it was a amazing experience, film school. But when I came back to Bollywood, I had to unlearn everything. So because I don't think there was that kind of discipline back then. It was a lot of passionate people trying to make good films, and the decorum that needed to be there while making a film, and was there because there were very good big personalities that wanted to make good films, and everything was based on whether it was Yashji or Feroz Khan or Sanjay Khan or Sanjay, not Sanjay Leela Bhansali, he's very new, but the older ones like Yash Johorji, they were like stalwarts of the industry, right? Like when they made a movie, they knew the pulse of the movie, they knew how to handle artists, they knew what it took to bring out magic, and it was a very different industry to come into.
So, but you did want to be an actor, and it wasn't direction and then probably acting.
Yes, I wanted to be an actor since I was 9 years old.
Lovely.
So I used to watch my father's film Abdullah and Mera Vachan Geeta Ki Kasam. And I used to dress up like a dacoit and take my gun, and I used to go and bother all the workers. And I knew back then that I was going to be the biggest actor ever. I don't know, probably why, it's a very good question. But you see, I'd been born right in the middle of the industry. So most of the time my parents were out. So whenever we used to see them, we used to see them, on locations in Kashmir or in Mauritius or on the set, and we would constantly be surrounded by the pandemonium that a set usually has,
But how was it seeing Dad on the big screen? Were you as a kid confused when he would have a fight scene?
No, man, not at all. Actually, we grew up on a very healthy, diet of good films. I mean, at the end of the day, we knew, of course, initially when you went to see the trial show and this big screen was there and everybody had to be quiet and silent and all the kids had to sit down and the adults had to sit on chairs. We used to wonder, okay, what is there behind the screen? Is it really happening? And as you get older, you realize that, hey man, my dad's a hero, he's an actor, it's superb. And yeah, I mean, it was amazing to see him on a set. It was amazing to then see him on film, and it's such a magical process. I mean, it's not glamorous at all when you go and see somebody shoot. you know, it's a boring thing. Like, you know, unless you're shooting a song or doing an action sequence. And so many of my friends, they said, Zayed, you know, can we come on your set and see? I said, man, you're more than welcome, but I swear to you, it's not enjoyable, you know. And most of them, whenever they come on set, they're like, so how much you did this the whole day and what did you get out of this? So that's the truth, right? Like, and then, you know, when your film does well, you're really happy about it because you know, every minute counts.
Yeah.
Every hour that you extend is very, you know, painstaking. And then when it does well, you're happy. When it doesn't do well, you're like, oh wow, you know, what an effort. So yeah.
So 20 years ago, you get your first film, Chura Liya Hai Tumne. And was the script, you know, something that you were happy doing? Did it come to you, or did you approach a director or a casting director?
No, I was on the set of what was that film with Ritik and Amisha? Vikram Bhatt was directing.
Oh, आप मुझे अच्छे लगने लगे.
आप मुझे अच्छे लगने लगे. I'm happy that you said. So I was there to meet Vikram, and I wanted to see what, you know, how the set is functioning. And I asked Dagu, can I come? So he said, sure, buddy, come, and this and that. And at one point in time, this gentleman from Pantaloon, Vivek, he comes up to me, and you know, I'd come back from film school, and for 2 years I was just preparing on my dialogues, on my dancing, on my action. So I was like a really lean, mean machine out then, you know. And I think people see the hunger in your eyes, you know. So somebody had whispered in his ear that, you know, he's Sanjay Khan's son, this and that. And so he comes up to me and he's like, will you do a film for me? So I'm like, I was confused, you know, because like, I didn't know whether I should say yes, no, or because, you know, my father would be like upset, you know, that I made such a brash decision. So I said, can I think about it? I want to be an actor, but like, can I come back to you like tomorrow? So he said, sure. So I came back, I asked my father, I said, you know, this is big production, you know, that wants to launch me, and they're taking Asia in this film, and you know, it seems really good on the face of it. And Sangeet Sivan was the director, and I had seen so much stuff of Santosh Sivan, which is his brother, and he's a great cinematographer. And you know, it seemed like a good project to be in. So I told my father, and my father said, see, beta, there's nothing like doing it yourself. If you feel you are going to enjoy this process, go for it. But remember, once you're an actor, then you've got to do a lot of things that make you a responsible, disciplined person. I mean, you can't just flutter your life away and think this is a joke, and or you're going to have fun on the set, and you know, it's a great discipline. So once you sign up to this, the rest of your life you're going to be in the media, in the public eye. So are you ready for it? I was like, God damn, I'm ready for it, man. I mean, so yeah, not only did I get that film, but I think if you had to go into the Guinness Book of World Records, if there was, I was the highest paid newcomer ever.
Oh. Well, 2003, along with you, also had Shahid Kapoor, who did his debut with Ishq Vishk, and John Abraham.
And Ritesh.
And
Ritesh.
And Ritesh, yes, of course.
Yes.
So quite a power-packed year for too many newcomers that happened. But what was going on in your mind, Zayed, when you came on the sets? Were you excited about it? Did it feel like a dream, or were you coming back to, okay, now it's showtime?
I mean, you know, I've never been the kind of person who has always looked over my shoulder to see who's left and who's right.
Okay.
I've always been very focused on my own race. And, you know, I've never sort of indulged in the politics of wo kya kar raha hai and why don't I get this and why don't I was very confident of my ability, and I just wanted to work with amazing people, and that was the, the crux of the matter. But having said that, like, I mean, I when I meet John, I think John's a fantastic guy. Ritesh is like my buddy. He's like, you know, Shahid is such a talented thing. So there was so much competition, which was healthy. I mean, you know, we never like, you know, did any kind of tit for tat, or I don't know, probably some people might have, but we went on so many shows together and we bonded as people, as friends, as artists, as it was a different industry in the sense that there was so much more class to how relationships were conducted. So I have to say, man, like, did I want to win a best debut? Of course, who doesn't?
Yeah.
You know, but may the best man win. Yeah.
So in the month of March 2003,
Yeah.
the film releases.
Right.
How was the family's reaction, especially dad?
You know, the strange part is that the song Mohabbat Hai Mirchi had done so damn well that this movie seemed like a hit before it even released. And it's really strange, right? Like, I mean, my dad thought that the movie was so-so. He wasn't very, like, pleased with how it turned out.
So he was honest with you.
Always.
Okay.
I mean, you must have those sounding boards in your
true.
life, you know, and not everything is. But when they say something nice about you, then you really know it's nice, you know. So, there was such a frenzy around just the song and the thing, and I mean, I think the movie did an average, but the movie was perceived a hit because of the songs, and it was Himesh's second or third album,
Right.
you know, and it was so huge it became. I think I must have done like 100 odd shows just on Chura Liya Tumne songs, you know. So back then, music was so important to how a film was received, and I feel today we are trying to find that pulse, but I think the music industry has taken its own form. It's a separate industry right now. Before, it used to piggyback off Bollywood,
Right.
you know. So, or the Indian film industry, or however politically correct everybody wants to make it. So I do believe that music and dance is in our DNA,
Right.
and we should not forget that in our films going forward. And I feel like in the recent past, there haven't been as many big songs as there were 10 years ago
Right.
in every film.
Yeah.
And it was like an invitation to watching a good film, you know. So yeah, that's the slight difference.
Yeah, I think more than the trailers, if a song did good and it was a hit, then people would want to go to the big screens to just also see the song and dance to it, probably.
I mean, I'll give you an example of Das, the song
Yes.
Das, right? I was doing 2 shifts, and I get a call from Nitin Manmohan saying, Zayed, you know, I got AB's dates also, and you know, we need to do this and get it over with. I said, Nitin bhai, like, how do I do this, man? Like, you know, it's got this shift and I have to go tomorrow. And I was shooting for Shadi #1 at the time.
Yeah, I think that is 2005, where you had like about 4-5 releases in the same year.
Yeah,
Wow.
it was a stressful like time, but you were young and you know. So I remember it was a double shift. I just finished like 12 hours, and then I went and we shot, and we were not going to shoot Thus the song, huh? We were actually not going to shoot the song Thus.
Acha.
It was like, चलो अगर shoot हुआ तो हुआ, नहीं हुआ तो release कर रहे हैं picture.
Okay.
Okay, it was like that. And I don't know, and then Anubhav calls me and he says, dude, we've got to do this. And I'll do it in 10 hours, I promise you. We shot the entire song of Thus in 10 hours, AB and me. Okay, and it became a rage. Like a rage, right? Like, I mean, it goes to tell you that never lose hope in the fact that something can't be done. If you even have the smallest bit of energy and so much is on the line, go for it, because you are not an artificial intelligence computer. You don't know what the next hit is. You just know what a feeling is.
Yeah.
We loved the song, we knew it. We knew the song was amazing, right? It would be a different thing if the song wasn't amazing and then you're putting on that effort, right? But and that sixth sense that we listen to is so important, and I mean, before we used to call that sixth sense God. Now we call it Google, I mean, it's strange, but it's very important to be intuitive like that. And I've realized that when you push that extra mile at that point in time, amazing things happen.
Zayed, but was it easier because you were Sanjay Khanji's son?
I'll answer this question because I've been often asked this question. Of course, access is very easy when you're in the industry,
Yeah.
like it should be. Are you telling me tomorrow when a lawyer or a doctor or a businessman sits on a table with his son and says, "Beta, क्या करना चाहते हो?" And he says, "पापा मुझे DJ बनना है," 2 थप्पड़ मिलेंगे उनको. It's about the legacy,
Yeah.
and it's not pushed upon you, because there are some people who are born in film families, but they're introverts. They don't like the attention. But if you like the attention and you got the skills, then it becomes my God-given duty to give you an opportunity. But that is just access. Now there's an audience.
Yeah.
Now the audience will determine whether they like you or not. And trust me, I've seen billionaires try to make their sons actors and thrown everything and the kitchen sink behind them. And the audience hasn't accepted them.
Right.
So it would be a strange irony. It's sort of yes, if you have the means to the end, stop listening to politically correct people. Okay, no, this will be nepotistic and all of that nonsense. I mean, everybody is nepotistic, yeah. You tell me, a person who goes from one team to the other or changes one company to the other, they don't take their 5 people with them?
Yeah.
Is that not being nepotistic? I mean, we have blown this word out of proportion. The fact on the ground is the audience will decide. How you get there, whether you break a bone, a leg, your head, or burning midnight oil, that is all that counts, the effort.
Yeah.
Then there's an audience, man. And let the audience decide. And what do studios do? Studios basically are the voice of the audiences.
Right.
Hi guys, this is Zayed Khan and you're watching me on Bollywood Hungama.